What is up, everybody, and welcome back to Mid-Level Media Channel, your hub for everything physical media and entertainment. I am Ken, and today, guys, I am here to talk about some of my favorite Blu-ray releases of 2022. So we're not talking 4Ks today. There's been tons of great 4Ks that have released this year. I did an entire tier list ranking of those a couple weeks back, so definitely check that out. But we're just going to talk about some of my favorite Blu-ray releases. We got standalone Blu-rays, we got boutique Blu-ray releases, and no ranking, no tier list, none of that. This is going to be a very relaxed, casual video just talking about some of my favorite Blu-ray releases of 2022. But before we get into it, I have to ask, are you new to the channel? This is your first time discovering me here on YouTube? Definitely consider hitting that subscribe button. Do tons of physical media content on this channel every single day. Blu-rays, 4Ks, physical media if you like that kind of stuff, owning the movies that you love, all this stuff behind me right here. Definitely consider hitting that subscribe button. We talk movies and physical media every single day on this channel, and you definitely enjoy it. Also, be sure to like this video. Liking videos, guys, is severely underrated. You gotta like this video. I definitely appreciate that. And then comment down below. I want to know some of your absolute favorite Blu-ray releases of 2022. Again, no 4K releases, only Blu-ray releases of 2022. I need to know about it, so comment that down below and then turn on those bell notifications for all future videos. So let's get into it, guys. I've got like 17 or 18 titles here today that I want to talk about, and I'm going to go through by month. I have them organized by when they came out. So the first one that I do want to talk about, this is a movie starring Kristen Stewart, and this is the biopic of Princess Diana, and this is called Spencer. So I really enjoyed this movie, a really good biopic. It's not like the best as far as like a Blu-ray transfer, like Decal Releasing isn't exactly known for their flashy transfers, but I just thought the movie was really good. And I definitely think that, Kristen Stewart deserved to be nominated for Best Actress. She was definitely one of the best performances that I saw last year. She disappears into this role. Like I know some people were skeptical of her in this role. They're like, the girl from Twilight, the emo girl, whatever. She absolutely disappears into this role and is Princess Diana. You totally buy it. She does an absolutely phenomenal job in this movie. It's easily, I would say, probably the best performance of her entire career. She does an excellent job in this movie. I love the cinematography in this movie. It's excellent. The story, it's a little bit different than you would expect from a traditional biopic. It doesn't go the traditional route in a lot of senses, but it is a really good movie, a really good story, and it has some really strong emotional beats throughout as well. And I don't know, I just thought it was really good. The score in it, I really love the score. Some people didn't like it because it's very loud, but I really like the score in this movie. It's definitely one that I find myself listening to often. So Spencer is a really good movie from Decal Releasing. You can get this because I'm going to let you know how much these cost on Amazon right now for $12.60, but definitely one of my favorite Blu-ray releases of this year. And it came out, I think, like right at the beginning of the year. I think the first couple of weeks of the year. You guys are probably, this is the point where you guys are going to shut off the video. And there's going to be a couple of those points in here. But look, I gotta recommend Candyman 3 Day of the Dead, this Vestron release. And one of the reasons I gotta recommend it right now is because it's available for $6.49. You can get this probably still with this gorgeous slipcover for $6.49. But look, I had a good time with this movie. It's not a great movie. It's nowhere near the quality of the original, but I think it's a lot of fun, and I actually like some of the aspects that they brought into the movie in terms of like just kind of showing the origin story of Candyman and stuff like that. So again, it's not a good movie. I would probably call it a bad movie. It's a bad movie, but I had fun with the movie. I didn't hate it. It's got some good special features on here. And again, it's only $6.49. Great slipcover. Look at the slipcover. Just forget about the movie and look at that beautiful slipcover for a second. But look, it's not that bad. It was built up to be terrible, and it wasn't that bad. So again, you can get it for $6.49. It's Candyman 3. But all right, let's get back into actual good films. I will highly recommend Shock from Arrow Video. This is a Mario Bava film. This is his last film, Italian horror director. This is his last film in his filmography, and I haven't seen many Mario Bava films, but this is definitely the best one that I've seen of his filmography. I love this movie. He's got Daria Nicolodi, famous Italian giallo actress. I think she is great in it. The scares are really great in this movie as well. There's one scene where the boy's like running out, turns into an adult, absolutely tripped me out. There's just some really good stuff in this movie. It's been a few months since I've seen it, so I can't remember everything, but I really enjoy this one. It's really tense, it's really scary, and I would recommend it from Arrow Video. You can get it right now for, I believe, $19.99. That is an absolute steal. Like, this is a great release, great special features, audio commentaries, and all that good stuff. And again, Mario Bava film, and it's awesome. This cover artwork on it is awesome. So highly recommend Shock from Arrow Video. I got to talk about one of my favorite movies of all time, Liar Liar. Jim Carrey, Liar Liar. This is my favorite Jim Carrey movie. I love this movie. 1997's Liar Liar is just hands down one of my absolute favorite comedies of all time, probably top 5. So when Shout Factory announced they were releasing this, I was like through the moon. I was just so excited to get this one. So the transfer on this is like super clean. Like, it's way better than the previous Blu-ray. The colors on it are very vibrant. Like, it's a new 2K scan. I just thought they did an excellent job as far as the transfer. There are some new special features in this as well. Some stuff that they haven't previously released on DVDs and Blu-ray releases of the past. And it's just a really great movie. It's just one of those movies, like, I've literally seen it 50 times. And it doesn't matter how many times I've seen it. It doesn't matter that I can quote it from start to finish. It makes me laugh every time I watch it. It's really just the physical comedy of Jim Carrey in this movie is just way up here. Like, it is the best that he has done in his entire career. Like, he was peak Jim Carrey in this performance. It's his best, like, mix of drama and comedy. Like, he balances them both so well, because you have the super hilarious and funny moments all throughout the movie. Then you have all the emotional stuff that kind of pulls at the heartstrings between him and his son and his relationship with his son throughout the movie. So really enjoy Liar Liar, and I recommend that you definitely pick this one up. So you can get this one for $15.99. So this one hasn't changed in price since it came out. And I got to show you this real quick before I put it up, because I love the reversible cover art in this set. I wish it would have came with a slipcover, but it did not. But tell me this is not some of the best reversible cover art you've ever seen. I love it. I absolutely love it. The pen is blue. The pen is blue. The goddamn pen is blue. There, I said it. Now let's get into Stage Fright. This is an Alfred Hitchcock film. I thought that this was awesome. Like, this one absolutely blew me away. I had never really heard of this movie. I never really heard of anybody talking about this as one of Hitchcock's best movies. It's one of the best ones I've seen. It's easily in my top 5 Hitchcock movies that I've seen. Again, I've only seen about 15 of his films, but it's in my top 5. I love this movie. It's got a great twist at the end that you do not see coming, and it's really kind of freaky and really kind of scary. So really good thriller, has some really good pace to it. Like, it's never boring throughout. So really enjoyed this one. It's got some special features in it as well. So just a really solid release from Warner Archive. Great transfer by them as well. So that's all the January ones. Let's move into February. And I don't know if you'll turn it off with this one or not, but I really had a lot of fun with Slumber Party Massacre. It's not what I would say is a great slash or anything, but it's a solid like 3.5 out of 5 for me. It's kind of, you know, the original Slumber Party Massacre is not a masterpiece. It's not something that is so sacred that you can't come back and redo it and it be seen as like sacrilege to the franchise or anything. All of the movies in the Slumber Party Massacre are kind of ridiculous and kind of stupid and kind of schlocky, let's be honest here. So it's not like you're, you know, trampling all over this like sacred, great franchise or anything when you decide to redo the Slumber Party Massacre. So I think like tonally, this movie is very much in line with the original, and I thought they did a good job of kind of just calling back to the tropes of the original and some of the moments, and just some good callbacks in this movie. You have the guitar from the second one, you have the drill from the first one, and it's just the model, like the character model of Russ Thorn, the guy that they used to play him in this one, I thought did a really good job. So I really loved, and again, I don't remember if he was playing like Russ Thorn exactly, or if it was like his son, or I can't remember exactly what it was supposed to be, but you can kind of see him right there. I think he was playing the character of Russ Thorn now that I think of it, but they did a good job with this one, and I really enjoyed Slumber Party Massacre. A Scream Factory release, but this one came out, I think, on Shudder or Paramount Plus or something last year. I can't remember which streaming service had it, but got to talk about Miller's Crossing. This is definitely one of my favorite Blu-ray releases of the year. Criterion did an excellent job on this. They've been doing a lot of 4Ks and stuff. Everybody's excited for the 4Ks, but check this little Coen Brothers movie out. Again, we got the Criterion sale coming up. This is an excellent movie. Again, directed by the Coen Brothers, people that did Fargo and The Big Lebowski and No Country for Old Men. Like, if you want to see some of their greatness like early on, check this one out. Also check out Blood Simple. They did that in the Criterion collection as well. It's a great early Coen Brothers movie, but Really enjoyed this one. This kind of feels like one that doesn't get brought up enough, doesn't get mentioned enough. So I was really excited when Criterion released this one. But Miller's Crossing is a great movie, Prohibition era movie. And it's just a great crime drama from 1990. So highly recommend that. Great special features in that as well. Great transfer by Criterion. I gotta recommend Apex. I can't not recommend Apex starring Bruce Willis. I'm sorry. I couldn't finish that with a straight face. Yes, I still have Apex in the collection, and I have to talk about it. It was a big moment for the channel back in February. If you don't know about the Apex, you know, that I was kind of plugging all through February, go back and check out my Apex review. You'll enjoy it. But look, no, don't buy Apex. God, no, don't buy Apex for real. I'm sorry I even mentioned it. And I forgot to say some of the prices for some of these, but Stage Fright right now is $17.98. Slumber Party Massacre is $17.99. Miller's Crossing is $23.99. But again, Criterion sales coming soon, so that'll be down to $20. And Apex is currently $12.96. Like I said, if you want to support Bruce, you know, because he's going through some issues right now, some health issues, definitely buy Apex. If you're going to buy one of the Bruce Willis movies, straight-to-video movies, buy Apex. But don't expect a good movie. It's not that great. So anyway, let's talk about Man on the Moon. This is another Jim Carrey title that came out in February. I had never seen this movie before in my life. Like, I grew up being a huge Jim Carrey fan, but for some reason, I just missed out on this one. I don't know if it was just because it was a drama and I just wasn't into that kind of stuff when I was a kid, but I missed out on this one, and I am so, like, sorry that I did, because when I finally watched this one, I was like, damn, this is such a great movie. Great biopic. Jim Carrey playing Andy Kaufman, the comedian from the 70s that was involved in the whole Jerry Lawler, like, wrestling angle thing that went on. I always heard about that because I grew up a wrestling fan. But my goodness, this is such a great movie, directed by Milos Forman, same guy that did Cuckoo's Nest and you know, Amadeus. So yeah, I just thought this was great. Jim Carrey did a spectacular job in this movie. You got Danny DeVito. Courtney Love is in this movie. So that kind of surprised me. I didn't even remember that, but she did a damn good job in this movie. But really great movie, really great transfer by Kino Lorber. This is a Kino Lorber Blu-ray release, not 4K, but yeah, I just fell in love with this movie. I thought it was absolutely spectacular. So I absolutely recommend that you own that one in the collection. You can get it right now for $14.99. So great price for that. Absolutely. If I can recommend one movie of any of the ones I talked about, I absolutely recommend you pick this up. It's a great release. Again, we have the Kino sale going on right now as well, so you might be able to get it a little bit cheaper on their website. Red Rocket. This is an A24 film that came out in March. I really enjoyed this movie. Same director as the Florida Project. It wasn't up there with the Florida Project for me, but it just captured, it did a good job of capturing, like, the realism of just, like, everyday life. Just like Sean Baker does such a good job of just capturing, like, real life stuff so well. And again, it's because he uses a lot of real life people in his movies, like non-actors in his film. So I really enjoyed this movie. Again, the lead character in this movie, played by Simon Rex, he's not a very likable character, but he's not supposed to be. And I just thought that he doesn't really have what you would call an arc either, but I just think that his journey in this movie is really good, and it just tells a really good story, even if you don't agree with the directions that it goes in. But Red Rocket's a really great movie. Highly recommend that one from A24. And you can get it for $11.99. That's a great price for a new A24 film for sure. Let's talk about Night Creatures. So this is a Scream Factory release. This is kind of like a classic Hammer horror film. It's not the greatest movie ever, but I do recommend this one. It is a really good kind of, you know, ghost story, kind of classic ghost story movie. And the cover art on this one is freaking awesome. And it's one of the, you know, few Blu-ray Scream Factory releases that came out this year, because they've kind of been diving headfirst into the 4Ks and stuff all year. But really solid, you know, Hammer horror, like old school. I think this was made in the 60s. Classic horror ghost story that I would recommend with a solid mystery that is kind of compelling and wraps up in a satisfying way. So I do recommend Night Creatures. You can get it for $27.99, so a little bit steep on that price point. Maybe wait for a sale on that. But look, we gotta talk about VHS 94. I've talked about this in a sense on the channel. Several live streams that I do, I always bring up the image of Ratman, because I was just so taken by the Ratman in this movie. Kind of zoom in on the back. I don't even know if he's on the back. That's a disservice to this release. They didn't even put Ratman on the back of this one. But I really enjoyed this movie. It's not as good as the first and the second to me, but it's definitely better and a much needed improvement over the third one, VHS Viral. I'm just a huge fan of the VHS franchise though in general. Found footage movies I love. So yeah, really solid anthology. The first sequence segment is Rat Man. It's a great segment. But then it just goes into some really, there's one in a morgue that is absolutely terrifying. There's just something that's like so crazy and zany and out there. It's like almost straight up out of a Final Fantasy video game. It's wild. Like the sequences are wildly different in this one, which I do enjoy and appreciate. But yeah, this is definitely an awesome VHS film. And it's got a really cool slipcover right here with the skull with the TVs. It's actually embossed right there. And it's got some cool reversible cover art right here as well. I always appreciate when RLJE does the reversible cover art. And yeah, you look, Ratman for life. Hail Ratma. Ratman, Ratma. I think they call him Ratma in the movie. But yeah, Hail Ratma. VHS 94 is awesome. And I do highly recommend that you pick it up. You can get it right now for $14.99. So let's talk about Orange County. This is a cool little Blu-ray release that came out from Paramount, I think back in April. So this is the first time that this movie has ever been put out on Blu-ray. The transfer on this one isn't the best, but it's definitely better than the DVD, which I think is the last way that I own this movie. So this is just a really fun kind of coming-of-age comedy that came out in 2002. It's a really important movie to me. I can understand some people watching this and being like, really? You like this one? You think this is funny? But it's just super nostalgic for me. I just got my license when I went to the theater to see this. I love this movie. I think it's Jack Black's funniest performance of his entire career. I love him to death in this movie. You got Tom Hanks' son, Colin Hanks, in this movie. I think this is one of his first movies. I just love it. I love the cast. You got Catherine O'Hara as the mom in this movie. She's fantastic as kind of the drunk, kind of belligerent mother in the film. She's great. It's got a killer cast. Harold Ramis is in this movie. Jonathan Lithgow's in this movie. It's got great group of people. Chevy Chase is in this movie. It's so awesome. The soundtrack is so killer as well. I love Orange County. Highly recommend you pick it up for $12.99. We got to talk about Cursed, which held up far better than I thought it would for me. I remember watching this back in 2005 and thinking it was so stupid and ridiculous. I did not enjoy this movie at all. And I thought it was kind of good the second time around when I just rewatched it. The scan by Scream Factory, the 4K scan, was freaking fantastic. I thought it looked amazing. I think this is a 2-disc set as well. I think you get the director's cut and the original theatrical cut, which if you watch this, I absolutely recommend the director's cut because you get some blood and stuff in that. You didn't get any of the blood in the theatrical cut because it was rated PG-13 when it came out. So the CGI doesn't hold up. It doesn't hold up at all, so I cannot recommend it based on that. But I think the movie's actually pretty good and kind of underrated. I feel like people sleep on this one and kind of call it crap when it's not total crap. Like, there's actually merit to the story. You got Christina Ricci in this film. You got Jesse Eisenberg in this movie. Very early Jesse Eisenberg film. So I enjoyed this one. It's kind of schlocky, kind of campy, kind of cheesy, but it's a lot of fun. I do recommend Cursed from Scream Factory. So you can get Cursed right now for $24.99. We could talk about Licorice Pizza as well. It's a new Paul Thomas Anderson movie. This is one that I feel like will grow on me over time. As it stood when I watched it, it was about a 4 out of a 5 for me. There's just some pieces and some elements from the story that was missing, but I love a good period piece. This is set in the 60s, kind of romantic story between a 15-year-old and a 25-year-old, which is kind of taboo talking about, especially in this day and age, but it's a good story. It's a sweet story. It moves at a good pace, and I did enjoy this movie, this Paul Thomas Anderson movie. Definitely doesn't rank amongst my favorite Paul Thomas Anderson movies, but it's a good movie, and I feel like over time, it'll grow on me. But Licorice Pizza, I do recommend, and you can get it right now for $22.95. And let's talk about Top Secret. I did not watch this. I think it's the only one in this pile I didn't watch, but I love this movie, and I will watch it absolutely at some point. You can get it right now for, I think, $14.99, but it's got Val Kilmer in it. It's just one of the funniest spoof comedies of all time. If you haven't seen it, I'm sure you've seen Airplane. I'm sure you've seen Naked Gun, but Top Secret, Hot Shots, Major League, all that stuff. I'm sure you've seen all the other spoof stuff, but Top Secret is just as good as all those, and I would highly recommend it if you've never heard of it, never seen it. Right there in the middle, they make sure you know it's from the makers of Airplane. But Top Secret is awesome. Last two I got right here. I'm at the end. I know this video is running way longer than I wanted it to, as my videos tend to do, but Girls Night Out is a really fun, schlocky 80s horror movie. I think this one came out in 1982. It's got one of the girls from Friday the 13th Part 2 I recognize in it. It's a teddy bear killer movie. It's got Hal Holbrook in this movie, so it's got an actual legitimate star in the film. So it's about the school mascot, you know, going around killing people, but obviously there's somebody that's in their class under the bear costume, so it's kind of like a whodunit as well. One of my disappointments is the girls really never have a night out. They never really have a night out. It's kind of girls and guys all throughout the movie. So the title is a little bit misleading, even though I know the original title was A Scare Maker. So I think that one would have made a little bit more sense. But Girls Night Out is solid. It's got a really cool embossed slipcover right here with some knives and stuff. So I do recommend it. I do recommend that you pick it up. And you can actually get it for pretty cheap right now, $19.99 for Girls Night Out, I guess because of the Barnes & Noble era video sale that's going on. So that might not last too long. As all of these prices, guys, if you watch this days, months, weeks later, whatever, years later, if you're watching this in 2030 or something, you're looking for these titles, they might not be the same price that I'm advertising right now. These are specifically to this time when the video goes out. Prices change all the time on Amazon. The last ones I want to talk about real quick, I just reviewed both of these on the channel, so I'll mention them both pretty briefly because you can go back just a couple of videos and check out my reviews for both of these. But Fire in the Sky and The Living Dead at Manchester Morgue, I would absolutely recommend to add to your collection. These are two great releases, Blu-ray releases, Fire in the Sky from Scream Factory and The Living Dead at Manchester Morgue from Synapse. Did I say it right? Did I say Synapse right? Everybody always gives me crap about my pronunciations of Synapse. But look, there you have it, guys. That is all the Blu-ray recommendations that's come out in 2022. So a lot of good stuff this year. It's not every Blu-ray that I watch, but to be honest with you, some of the other Blu-rays, I just didn't think were that good. So if you thought, you know, I have reviews for some and I didn't put them in the stack, it's because I just can't recommend them. I just can't recommend them. I know what you're thinking. You can recommend Apex, but you can't recommend this title. I don't know what to tell you. Apex, it's a gag at this point on the channel, so I had to recommend it. But thank you guys for watching this video so much, for bearing with me through all of these 18, 19, 20 titles that I have here today. Some really good stuff here that I do recommend that you add to your collection. So again, appreciate you guys watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, turn on the bell notifications, all that good stuff. Follow me on all my social media accounts. Those links are in the description, and I'll see you next time.